Today we will be starting a new chapter, that is chapter of fractions. Like we always do, before starting the chapter, let me take you briefly through what all we are going to learn. In today's lesson, we will learn what are fractions and different kinds of fractions. In the part 2 that will be covered in the second video, we will compare different kind of fractions. In the third part, we will take up addition and subtraction of fractions. Next comes multiplication of fractions and concept of using off. Off is also used as a sign of multiplication. So both these topics will be covered together in the fourth part. And the final part of the series, we will talk about division of fractions and order of operations. So in all, this chapter of fractions is divided into 5 parts. And today we start by understanding what exactly do we mean when we use the word fraction. Let's look at the definition of fraction. The definition of fraction says that it is a number representing part of a whole. So this is what fraction it is, a part of a whole. Now here the word whole can be used to represent either a single object or a group of objects. To understand the situations where whole can be used to represent a single object or a group of objects, we have to take example. And first we are taking the example of a pizza to represent whole being used for a single object. So let's begin. We have a pizza and we slice it up into 6 equal parts. Now each part can be represented in the form of 1 by 6 and it will be read 1 part out of 6 equal parts. This is the standard way of reading a fraction. So 1 by 6 is 1 part out of 6 equal parts. Imagine a situation where we are distributing different slices among children and a child comes up and takes 2 slices. So the share that the child is getting is this much and it can be written as 2 parts out of 6 equal parts. Similarly, if the child gets 3, then it can be 3 by 6. 4, it can be written as 4 by 6. 5, then it will be 5 by 6. And if a child takes up 6 slices of pizza, then numerator becomes 6. And how many slices we had from a single pizza? We had 6 slices in total, 6 equal parts. So here we can see that in general understanding, the child is having the whole pizza, 6 parts out of 6 equal parts. Now how to show it mathematically? It can be shown, the denominator is going to cancel out the numerator and what we get is 1. So here 1 represents the whole pizza. So this is how we show that the word whole can be used for a single object, that is pizza in this case. Now to show that whole can be used for a group of objects as well, we take another example, and in this particular example we are talking about the preference of students towards different sporting events. Now students enrolled for tennis, let's say this number is 2. Students who are enrolling for basketball, 5. 15 enroll for swimming and 3 enroll for badminton. Now we know that each student is an individual and a whole in itself. But can we use the word whole for the students? For this we have to look at the total number of students. The total number here is 25 and 25 represents a group of students. Now each student is a part of this group. So 25 will be used for representing whole. This can be better understood if we write 25, the total number of students here, that is the group of students, and we say 2 students out of 25 enrolled for tennis, 5 students out of 25 enrolled for basketball, similarly 15 students out of 25 enrolled for swimming, and 3 students out of 25 enrolled for badminton. So here 25 is the group, that is the whole, and 2 out of 25 are enrolling for tennis, 5 for basketball, 15 for swimming, and 3 for badminton. So we are seeing that here the whole is 25 and each student is representing a part of the whole, that is the group of students. So with this example, we showed that whole word can be used for a group of objects or a group of students in this particular case. Now, we have come to a point where we have understood what fraction is and how to represent fraction. So the key takeaway points from here is fractions are represented in the form of A by B, where A and B are representing whole numbers. So these are whole numbers. And there is a condition to it. B cannot be equal to 0. So B is the denominator. And if we divide any whole number with 0, we will not have the form of A by B. That is the form of fraction. So fractions can be represented by A by B, but B cannot be equal to 0. Now the second point is, whenever we are talking of fractions and we are talking about the whole is always divided into equal parts. So this is quite important. Now with this, we come to a point where we understand fractions. Now let's discuss different kinds of fractions. We have many kinds of fractions and I will be discussing each one of them one by one. But to begin, I am taking 3 fractions here. These are proper fractions. Second is improper fraction. And the third one is called mixed fraction. Since these fractions are related to each other, it's better to take them up at the same point. Briefly, proper fractions are the fractions that have numerators less than its denominator. So the value is less than its denominator. The opposite of this is true for improper fraction. Here numerators are bigger than their denominators. And mixed fractions are a combination of a whole number and a fraction. So we write whole number plus fraction. Now let's understand it. In a proper fraction, numerator is less than its denominator. So the fraction examples will be like this: 1 by 25, 2 by 55, 3 by 29, 5 by 86. So these are examples of proper fraction. Here we can see that since the numerator is smaller in its value than denominator, they cannot be divided further. They cannot be divided further. Whereas in improper fraction, a fraction example can be of the kind 15 by 2. So 15 is bigger than its denominator, and since 15 is bigger than its denominator, it's possible to divide it further. So when we divide 15 by 2, 2 sevens is 14, remainder is 1, so it becomes 7 1 by 2. So here 7 is a whole number and half here is a fraction. And in this fraction, the numerator is less than its denominator. So we can say that improper fraction is actually not a real fraction, since it can be divided further. It can be divided further. The improper word in English itself means something is not proper about it, means something is not right in this fraction, and we see that improper fraction is holding on to a whole number within itself, and when we divide it, it separates into a whole number and a real fraction. So here we can say that 15 by 2 when divided gives us 7 1 by 2. 7 is a whole number which is same as mentioned in the mixed fraction, and this fraction is the same as mentioned here. So we see that actually when we divide the improper fraction, what we are getting is a mixed fraction. 7 1 by 2 is a mixed fraction here with a whole number and a fraction part. Now the next question comes to our mind is, we converted the improper fraction into a mixed fraction here by division. Now is it possible to convert a mixed fraction into an improper fraction? So the answer will be yes, we can convert a mixed fraction into its improper form. And we will be taking up the same thing, 7 1 by 2 here. And the method to convert it back will be multiply the whole number with the denominator, add the numerator, and write the denominator 2 at the bottom as such. So what will we get? 14 plus 1 by 2, which is equal to 15 by 2. Now this 15 by 2 is the same from where we started. That is the improper fraction. So there is another point here that we can call proper fractions as the real fractions, since they cannot be divided further. So improper fractions are not real fractions, whereas the proper fractions are the real fractions. Now with this we have understood three kinds of fractions: proper fraction, improper fraction, and mixed fraction. And we have also learned how to convert an improper fraction into a mixed fraction, that is by division, and how to convert a mixed fraction into its improper form. So with this we can move on to other kinds of fractions. So the fourth one in this series will be like fractions. Like fractions are the fractions that have the same denominator. Examples: 2 by 25, 1 by 25, 3 by 25, 8 by 25. So all these fractions have the same denominator. So these are called like fractions. The next one here will be unlike fractions. Unlike fractions are the fractions that have different denominators. So the fractions will be of the kind of 5 by 28, 1 by 65, 2 by 36, 8 by 89. So these fractions have different denominators. So these are called unlike fractions. Now let's move on to the next one. The next one in this will be unit fractions. Unit fractions are the fractions that have their numerator equal to 1. So their numerator always stays equal to 1. Examples will be 1 by 24, 1 by 68, 1 by 2, 1 by 102. So all these are unit fractions since their numerator stays equal to 1. Now the next one is decimal fractions. Decimal fractions. Decimal fractions are the fractions that have their denominator of the kind of 10, 100, 1000, 10,000, million. So if the denominator is of this kind, we call them decimal fractions. Examples: 1 by 10, 5 by 100, 25 by 1000, 3 by 1 lakh. So these are decimal fractions. We call them decimal fractions since these fractions will be very easy to convert them into their decimal forms, and this we will talk about in the chapter of decimals. Now the next kind of fraction here is vulgar fractions. The name is quite weird, but since it was mentioned in some of the books, I am taking it up here. All the fractions, if we have a set of fractions and we remove decimal fractions from it, the rests that are remaining are called decimal fractions. So basically, vulgar fractions are the fractions where denominator is a natural number other than 10, 100, 1000, 10,000, like these kind of numbers. So in a set of fractions, if we remove decimal fractions, the remaining one will represent vulgar fractions. Example here can be of 1 by 11, 5 by 108, 25 by 69, 65 by 1010. So we have denominators different from the kind of as we had in the decimal 10, 100,000 and 10,000. So here denominators are quite different in all of them. Now the next one in the series comes equivalent fractions. Equivalent fractions. Equivalent fractions are the fractions that represent the same part of a whole. We understand this by taking a very simple example, 1 by 2. 1, that is numerator, is representing half of 2. So we can say that this fraction represents half. Let's say 3 by 6. Now 3 is half of 6. So again this fraction is representing half of the whole because 6 is the whole. 15 by 30. 15 is half of 30. So again the same part of the whole is being represented, and similar is the case 75 by 150. So these are examples of the fractions where the numerator is representing the same part of the whole, and here it is half. Now since we will be using equivalent fractions a lot in the coming lessons, let's understand a few things here. We would want to convert of any fraction into equivalent forms. So how to convert any fraction, any given fraction into its equivalent forms? There are two methods for it. The first method says that whenever we want to do this, either we multiply both numerator and denominator with the same number, or the other case is where we divide both numerator and denominator with the same number. So this is how we do conversion into equivalent fractions or find equivalent fractions. So let's take an example here to understand it. We are taking example 1 by 2 and we want equivalent fractions for this. So how do we do it? Let's take two examples for each one of them. 1 by 2, numerator and denominator to be multiplied. So we multiply 5 and 5, both top and bottom. What do we get? We get 5 by 10. Now 5 by 10 represents the same part of the whole, that is half, and that is exactly what we started with in 1 by 2. This is half. If we try and multiply with another number, top and bottom, 8, so we get 8 by 16. So here 8 is half of 16. So again this is representing half. So this is how we do find equivalent fractions by multiplication. Now for finding equivalent fractions by division, we take another example, and the example here we are taking is of 30 by 60. 30 by 60 represents half of the whole, and when we do divisions with different numbers, 30 divided by and 60 divided by the same number. The number here we are taking is 3. So what do we get? We get 10 by 20. And 10 is half of 20. So we started with half and we are getting equivalent fractions that also represent half of the whole. So if we divide 30 and 60 by another number here, let it be 2, we will get 15 by 30. So again, this represents half of the whole. So this was about equivalent fractions. So we learned different kinds of fractions, and we also learned how to find equivalent fractions for a given fraction. So with this, we have covered the first part of this series. That is, we have understood fractions, and we also know how to convert improper fraction into a mixed fraction into an improper fraction. And we have also learned how to find equivalent fractions for the given fractions. So with this, we conclude this lesson, and we will meet up again in the second part of the series, and we will talk about, or we will compare different kind of fractions.